In the district tonight, a 12-year-old girl arrested accused of committing multiple robberies. Fox 5's Shamari Stone has the details from Northeast.
Tonight, people are stunned that the robbery suspect is just 12 years old. One of those robberies happening right here near the Noma Gallaudet U New York Avenue Metro Station. Riders tell me as they get off trains that they can't believe that the suspect is 12 years old. Let's roll some video to show you more about these robberies. Police say the 12-year-old and a group of juveniles were out here on the 200 block of M Street Northeast trying to steal someone's bike but snatching their groceries instead and running away around 7:45 last Wednesday night. Around just 20 minutes later, someone is riding a scooter on the Metropolitan Branch Trail near the 1300 block of 2nd Street Northeast. Detectives say the 12-year-old girl and a group of juveniles grabbed the rider's book bag, stealing the scooter and a cell phone. And then this past Sunday, that's when police tracked down one of the suspects, that 12-year-old girl, charging her with all the robberies. People who live in the neighborhood are shocked that the suspect is so young.
So 12-year-old girl in the DC area has been arrested and charged with a link of a string of robberies in that area. And as you just heard, the robberies were all kind of things. They were trying to steal someone's bike, end up snatching their groceries, um, just various things. And my first question I think is, where are the parents? Where are the guardians? Um, and then my next question is, what would lead this 12-year-old into going down this path of, becoming a robber? Um, because eventually, if you keep doing the same thing so many times, you eventually will get caught, as they say that they, already arrested her. And at 12 years old, um, I'm not sure how solid she's going to be at 12, especially when now, she's being charged with all the robberies. So, another question is she going to just go down and just take the blame all for herself, or is she going to tell on the crew that she was also running with? So, this is very unfortunate. 12 years old, you need to be somewhere, um, learning, taking your education serious, being a kid, and doing fun activities and stuff like that. Yeah, but we don't really know her full background, or where she comes from, and the whole family dynamic. We don't know all this information. So I'm only able to react to the information that I'm given. But several questions do come to mind when it comes to the situation. Now, I do know that there are a lot of people in the DC area who are not as fortunate as others, and she could come from one of those areas where she has had a hard upbringing. We don't know if she's ran away from home, or we don't know a whole bunch that's going on in this situation. But it's never good for anyone to be robbing or taking anything from others. But yeah, this is very, very sad, because again, it's just like, where are the parents? Um, and a lot of times, the parents are there. The parents are, you know, trying to get a hold on the child, and then the child is just very, very rebellious, smelling themselves, as my grandmother used to say, and just not listening and just want to do what they want to do. But these type of things can lead you to a whole heap of trouble. And she, again, we don't have too much information. Um, we're glad nobody was actually hurt, because things can be replaced, but lives can't. And let's see what else they have to say about this.
God, where her mother at? Where this little girl mother at? Where they role models at? Where's the adults?
One thing I know, they don't listen to role models. And a lot of that is because the people that's immediate to them are not really good role models. So great questions. Those are great questions. Sometimes the mothers are strung out on drugs. They following behind a man or doing everything but being good mothers and raising their children. Even fathers, the same thing goes for fathers too. A lot of them are too busy chasing skirts, chasing the high. Um, you know, just too busy to really give the kid the attention that the kid needs to thrive, or just to see things in a different light. But role models, mentors, things like that, man. With the youth, those things is really slowly dying. And like I said, when you try to tell them something, and these days they're less likely to listen. Because and even with the role models that they do have, like maybe these streamers or rappers or whoever, man, a lot of them are not necessarily the best people to really look up to or follow behind. But this is the world that we're in right now. This is just how it is and how things are going.
That's the question we all trying to figure out.
It's a sad and unfortunate reality that we live in.
And tonight, police tell me that they are continuing this investigation, and they say that there are other juveniles who took part in these robberies. Well, if you have any information, call DC Police. There is a reward of up to $1,000.
In the district.
First of all, there's a reward up to 1,000. They're gonna have to up that reward, man. They want people to start talking, like about to start upping these rewards. Like, some people may, definitely go and jump at 1,000, but most people that you're asking for information, there's gonna be people that are gonna be close to these people who are doing these crimes, and they're less likely to tell on their or sell out their folks for $1,000, which is, in my opinion, 1,000 is a lot of money. Most Americans, is they saying statistics, don't even have $1,000 to their name, but to sell out their folks, they definitely would, need a little bit bigger incentive. But do I think this little girl is gonna take the whole fall? No. And if if you was anybody that was running with her and doing these things with her, I would definitely be worried that she was gonna drop my name, or she was gonna let them know who all was involved, because it happens to adults. They get out there, they commit crimes with others, and as soon as that pressure is applied, they go ahead and crack. And I don't see how a 12-year-old, once they get to talking with her, interviewing her, interrogating her, I just don't see how she can remain solid. Because most people 12-year-old, they're into like video games, um, toys for that age range, stuffed animals. Of course, some of them that do have, phones and cell devices are trying to be content creators, and, some of them are listening to music and just doing what normal 12-year-olds would do. And it's just like, it's right before that age of like super rebellion, because in your teen years is typically when you can start having the most trouble out of our young adults. And wow, man, I really couldn't imagine my 12-year-old child out there robbing people and causing havoc and running with a crew and all kind of stuff like that, especially not a little girl. um But yeah, like the lady was saying, it's sad, but it's the reality that we're in right now. And as a community, I'm not sure, her ethnicity and all, but this as a community as a whole, uh, as adults, we have to set better examples for these kids, and um, try our best to, be mentors. And it's not so much by everything that you can say and lecturing and stuff like that, but more so by your actions. Once they see you doing, they're more likely to really pay attention, because a lot of people are more visual, um, than actually wanting to just hear a bunch of different stuff. And you can lecture somebody so long that they become deaf to what you're saying. So we'll see what comes. out of this here. And if anything else comes out, I'll definitely keep you updated with the reaction. And once again, if you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This is Justin Paul. Peace.